How to fix Cyberpunk 2077 muddy graphics and low PS menu resolution caused by 120Hz mode on PS5. Welcome back to Tenebalta. Today, we're diving deep into a perplexing visual anomaly that has plagued many PlayStation 5 users, specifically within titles like Cyberpunk 2077 and Warhammer 40,000. Space Marine 2. The symptoms are clear: muddy, low-resolution in-game graphics and a notably pixelated PlayStation menu overlay, often dropping to an inexplicable 720p when these games are active. This widespread issue, characterized by a significant degradation in visual fidelity, often persists despite rigorous adjustments to in-game graphics settings, including switching between performance and quality modes or enabling ray tracing. The root cause, as uncovered by dedicated community investigation, frequently traces back to an often overlooked interaction with the PS5 120Hz output setting. This technical guide will systematically address this specific problem, offering a comprehensive suite of solutions to restore the crisp, high-fidelity experience your PS5 is designed to deliver. Here's how to diagnose and effectively resolve muddy graphics and low PS menu resolution on your PS5. Understand the core conflict: 120Hz mode and game compatibility. The primary culprit often lies in the PlayStation 5, attempting to force a 120Hz refresh rate output for games that fundamentally operate at 60Hz, such as Cyberpunk 2077 native PS5 modes. When the PS5 120Hz output is set to automatic, it may initiate a display mode that prioritizes refresh rate over resolution, leading to an unwanted internal downscaling of the output signal to ensure compatibility, especially if your display or HDMI chain introduces any latency or bandwidth limitations. This mismatch forces the console to compromise, often resulting in a significantly lower resolution for both the game and the system UI to maintain a perceived 120Hz signal, even if the game itself isn't rendering at that frame rate. Navigate to PS5 system settings. Begin by accessing the PlayStation 5 main system settings from the home screen. This is typically found by selecting the gear icon in the top right corner of the user interface. This central hub grants control over all console-level configurations that impact system performance and display output. Access screen and video options. Within the System Settings menu, scroll down and select the Screen and Video option. This section consolidates all display-related configurations, including resolution, HDR, VRR, and refresh rate controls, making it the critical area for our adjustments. This specific menu allows granular control over how your PS5 communicates its visual signal to your connected display. Locate video output information. Inside the Screen and Video menu, navigate to Video Output Information. This subsection provides diagnostic data regarding your current display connection, including the detected resolution, refresh rate, and HDR capabilities of your TV or monitor. Understanding this information is crucial for confirming your display's current operational state and validating changes. Identify the 120Hz output setting. Scroll down within the Screen and Video menu to find the 120Hz output option. This critical setting dictates whether your PS5 attempts to output a high refresh rate signal to your display. Its default automatic setting can be problematic, as it may force 120Hz even when not optimal or supported by the game. Change 120Hz output to off. Select the 120Hz output option and explicitly change it from automatic to off. This action prevents the PS5 from attempting to force a 120Hz signal when it detects incompatibility or when the game itself doesn't natively support it, thereby preserving the native resolution. This is the most direct solution to prevent the console from downscaling its output due to a forced high refresh rate. Verify PS5 resolution output. After disabling 120Hz output, return to video output information to confirm that your PS5 is now outputting at its intended resolution, typically 3840 x 2160, 4K for compatible displays. A consistent 4K resolution across the PS5 UI and games indicates that the forced downscaling has been successfully averted. This step is crucial for confirming the effectiveness of the 120Hz adjustment. Test Cyberpunk 2077 and PS menu resolution. Launch Cyberpunk 2077 and observe the in-game graphics for improved clarity and sharpness. Crucially, while in-game, press the PS button to bring up the quick menu and verify that the PlayStation System UI is now rendered at its native high resolution, free from pixelation. This dual verification confirms that both game rendering and system overlays are operating at their optimal fidelity. Manually set PS5 resolution if auto fails. If the resolution doesn't automatically correct, manually set the PS5 resolution. In screen and video output, change resolution from automatic to 2160p. While automatic usually works, explicit selection ensures the console prioritizes 4K output, overriding any potential misinterpretations of your display's edit. Review variable refresh rate, VRR settings. Check your PS5 VRR settings, found under Screen and Video. If enabled, ensure your TV fully supports HDMI 2.1 VRR and is properly configured, as an incorrectly configured or incompatible VRR setup can sometimes interfere with stable resolution output, particularly if the 120Hz mode is simultaneously active. Disabling VRR temporarily can help isolate the issue if problems persist. Examine Auto Low Latency Mode, ALM configuration. Verify your PS5 ALM setting, also located in Screen and Video. While beneficial for gaming, an improperly negotiated ALM handshake between the PS5 and your display, especially when paired with ambiguous 120Hz settings, could potentially contribute to display mode conflicts that affect resolution. Temporarily disabling ALM can help determine if it's a factor. Review High Dynamic Range, HDR configuration. Under Screen and Video, inspect your HDR settings. Ensure HDR is either set to automatic or off based on your preference and display capabilities, as a faulty HDR signal or an unsupported HDR mode, when combined with refresh rate conflicts, might exacerbate visual artifacts or resolution scaling issues. A clean HDR signal is essential for optimal. Temporarily disable TV's game mode. Access your TV's picture settings and temporarily disable game mode or similar low-latency processing features. While game mode is generally desirable, some implementations can interact poorly with non-standard PS5 output modes or introduce their own scaling, which, when combined with a problematic 120Hz PS5 setting, could degrade. Observe if the visual clarity improves. Check TV's HDMI input settings, deep color/enhanced format. Navigate to your TV's HDMI input settings for the port your PS5 is connected to. Ensure HDMI deep color, enhanced format, HDMI 2.1 mode, or similar options are enabled for that specific input. These settings are crucial for allowing the full bandwidth required for 4K resolutions and proper color depth, preventing signal compression or resolution downgrades. Ensure TV firmware is updated. Check for and install any available firmware updates for your 4K nano cell TV. TV manufacturers frequently release updates that improve HDMI compatibility, resolve display mode bugs, and enhance overall picture processing. Outdated TV firmware can often be the silent culprit behind various display anomalies, including resolution and refresh rate issues. Inspect HDMI cable quality and version. Verify you are using a high-quality, ultra-high-speed HDMI cable, preferably the one supplied with your PS5 or a certified replacement. Inferior or older HDMI 2.0 cables may lack the bandwidth to transmit 4K resolution at higher refresh rates with full color information, potentially forcing the PS5 to reduce resolution or color depth for signal stability. Try a different HDMI port. Connect your PS5 to a different HDMI 2.1 port on your 4K TV. Some TVs may have specific HDMI ports designated for optimal gaming or 4K/120Hz input, while others might have varying bandwidth capabilities across ports. Experimenting with different ports can rule out a faulty port or a port with insufficient capabilities. Update PS5 system software. Ensure your PlayStation 5 console is running the latest system software version. Sony frequently releases updates that include crucial bug fixes, performance enhancements, and improved HDMI compatibility. Outdated system software can introduce unforeseen conflicts with display settings or game rendering, so always keep your console updated. Rebuild PS5 database. As a more advanced troubleshooting step, consider rebuilding your PS5 database. This process reorganizes the hard drive data, which can sometimes resolve performance issues, corrupted files, or system glitches that might indirectly affect display output. This is performed via safe mode and does not delete game data or saves, only restructures it. Power cycle, PS5 and TV. Perform a complete power cycle of both your PS5 and your TV. Turn off both devices, unplug them from their power outlets, wait for at least 60 seconds, then plug them back in and power them on. This hard reset can clear temporary glitches in the console's memory and re-establish a clean HDMI handshake with your display. By systematically working through these solutions, you should be able to resolve the muddy graphics and low PS menu resolution issues in Cyberpunk 2077 and similar titles, restoring the high-fidelity gaming experience your PS5 and 4K display are designed to deliver. Don't forget to follow Tenabalta for more in-depth technical guides and troubleshooting solutions.